entirely different. This might interest some people. I got this thermocouple, Type K thermocouple probe with a nice stainless steel braided cable, just for fun really. It came with this end on it. I'll just show you the original. Taking this off. It didn't come with that terminal block. It came with that adapter, which is a fairly standard thermocouple connection, but it doesn't fit the test meter that I have. Then I remembered that I had this little old thing here, which is a oh goodness me, I left the company in the 80s, 86, and I had this then. With all the modern meters that you get, they all have up to 10 amps 10 amp capability, and that's all this is, a 10 amp shunt for an old-fashioned meter that I used to have. Actually blew up, burned up. So I thought maybe I can modify it. I've taken the back off already. There's that, and there's the screws. Maybe I could modify it to do that, because this is still the standard. This was the standard set dimension across there was 3/4 of an inch pitch, and these meters are still the same 3/4 inch pitch, so that would plug in there nicely. Let's just adjust this slightly. There we go. Yeah, so that would plug in there, and then I can, and it's the same with all the other meters, I can measure the temperature. I want to check the temperature of my desoldering station probe and hot air system. So let's have a look inside here. We've got, it's not so easy to see in there with the light the way it is. Let's see if I can adjust the light slightly. I suppose it's not too bad. Okay, so I don't need these terminals. I just want to bring the stainless steel cable in and then clamp it somehow. So I want to take out the shunt, which is that thing across there, and then you've got wires from there to there and there to there, and that generates 100 milliamps, millivolts I should say, when there's 10 amps going through the shunt. Interesting little thing, but I don't need it. So let's get some tools. We want some spanner or two to take this apart. That's too big. That's too big. Let's just tip them out and see what we got. That's too small. Try this one. That's close. No, still too small. Oh, come on. That's too big. That's too small. That's 6.5 millimeters. Well, I don't have that one. 7, which is too big. So that's going to have to be something different. Let's see what we got that's different in here. Let's see what we've got in here that's different. We've got some BA ones, so it may well be. Let's put these away. It's so old, it's probably a BA, not metric. Right, that's the metric ones. Let's try BA. That's a 4BA. That's a perfect fit. Well, would you believe it? Yes. Yes, we would. So if we... Oh, first of all, I've got to cut that wire down there. Let's cut that one and that one. That's those. And now we'll take the nut off. This lighting in here is not very good today. Why is that? I think I'm going to have to desolder that first before that's going to come off. So let's have a look, see. Before the nut will come off. Ouch. This little soldering iron is part of my desoldering station, which I hummed and hawed over for quite a while. And then I decided to get this one. Seems to do the job. I'm not sure how reliable it's going to be, but it was cheap. I have actually since seen cheap reviews of cheap Chinese stuff on the interweb thing, and some of them are not so good, but there you go. Right, let's see if we can just take that off there. Come on, it doesn't want to come off. I don't need these, but they're useful little banana sockets. So if I tighten the nut back up, and then we'll see what we can do. I might have to get a vise to hold this so that I can desolder that properly. So let's get the vise out. Let's get the vise. Is that still going to be in shot? Yes. Oh, it might even be brighter up there. So let's close this up in the vise. I'm going to turn that so I can see a bit better. Turn the temperature of the soldering iron up. Ooh, to pretty near 400. And then we'll find something to hold on to that with. Because it ain't going to be my fingers. And then we'll just put that on there. I think I need a little bit of solder to help with the thermal transfer. Let's try that. That's better. So now what I'm trying to do is get hold of the last little tip that I almost snipped all away with the side cutters, and and get the soldering iron in there because the wire is wrapped around the tip. Let's see, it's coming loose. There we go. Nearly. Come off, please. Turn it around so I get a different side of it. So frustrating. There it is. Okay, so this one should be easier because I haven't cut off all of the tail. Still needs some serious heat in there. So it's trying to heat up quite a big chunk of metal. The reason I'm using side cutters instead of pliers is simply because the side cutters get hold of it if you don't squeeze too hard with only a tiny footprint. Yeah. And oops, it's coming out of the vise. With quite a small footprint, so it doesn't lose so much heat, but you need to just be gentle with it and not hold it too tight like I did just then. But fortunately there's a nice bit left. So of course it's wrapped around the post behind where the nut is, rather than sticking a, here it is, rather than sticking the end down the hole, they wrap it around because it gives a good mechanical joint, I suppose. But anyway, that's released now. So thanks to John Fluke, ancient items from the 80s or even before, 70s probably, we can have a nice bit of quality stuff which we can recycle into a temperature probe. Well, the reason I'm doing this is because I don't really want to interfere with the end of the thermocouple wire. I want to leave it into, I mean I will, I'll take it off and then, but I'll put it back into that little connector because it then remains standard, apart from a bit of solder on it, but I'm not sure that's going to matter much. 4BA, it's that old, it's still 4BA. It may be, but you've still got to find the right angle because it's only a hexagon nut. So you've still got to find the right angle to get the nut on in confined spaces. So let's try a bit of an angle. There we go. There we go. Right, that's that. That's taken those out. Now the reason I started that end, because I want to keep some of the wire from this end, which is again soldered to, let me see, where are we? Let me see, soldered to these terminals, which I want to keep, and I want to tack them onto that adapter thing. Once I've pushed the wire through one of these holes. So let's see if we